Hello everyone, and you're listening to Ebird Online again. And I'm here with a Before the 90 Days special. After seeing Tom put Darcey through meeting his so-called ex-girlfriend, Rochelle, last night on Before the 90 Days, I've decided to eviscerate Tom. I don't have all the evidence yet, but it's never stopped me before. Tom's a fake, Tom's a phony, Tom's a fraud. He's been exposed many times on different threads, and I think the time is nigh that I brought it all together in one handy bite-sized video. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to you Tom Brooks' Top 10 Lies. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also press the like button. So let's have a little bit of background about Tom. Tom Brooks is allegedly 39 and he's an entrepreneur from Nottingham in the Midlands. Tom's recently joined the cast of Before the 90 Days as Darcey's love interest. He's been talking to her for 4 years on the internet, and this is the first time that they've met. So Tom has presented himself as somewhat of an upper class gent. He filmed all of his segments in Chelsea. He's not from Chelsea, he doesn't live in Chelsea, he doesn't even own a property in Chelsea, so why would that be? He speaks very well, with quite an upper class plummy accent. He likes to eat at the right restaurants, and when at a hotel, he'll only stay in a suite. Tom also claims he's a ladies' man. Apparently he finds it difficult to contain himself to just one woman at a time, and he further claims to be a company director and travels to luxurious destinations worldwide for both business and leisure. According to Tom, he grew up in what was Colonel Clifton's home, which is a 36-room stately home in the village of Clifton in Nottinghamshire. In short, Tom presents himself as some sort of upper-class chap, and on his original VT, he was hunting and shooting out in the country, wearing his tweeds. Right away, I thought he was a fraud. Something told me he wasn't all that he was cracked up to be. It was all a little bit too over the top. He failed to announce himself, i.e. talk about his family lineage, but yet tried to push the narrative that he was from the landed gentry. I smelled a rat right from the off. Tom, you're a liar, and I'm going to prove it. So, lie number 1. Just a couple of weeks ago, Tom's Instagram feed included numerous photos of designer products, exotic destinations, exclusive events, and poof, just like that, they all disappeared. Why was that? Because Tom got exposed as a fraud. Fans spotted stolen photos on his Instagram, so we saw quite a few instances of this. He posted champagne on Nikki Beach, Monte Carlo, and he'd stolen that shot from somebody else and just reposted it as his own. He did the same with LV luxury gifts, and also, bizarrely, a dessert from the Ivy in Chelsea. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense. The Ivy in Chelsea, as far as I'm aware, is just a brasserie. It's not massively expensive, and it's not nearly as expensive as the original Ivy in Covent Garden. And so I really don't know what kind of person would repost a dessert from somewhere that he could easily go for a couple of £100 and have a meal and post. When Tom was confronted with evidence of his fake Instagram feeds, he offered the following laughable excuse: I've decided to delete all paid promotions so as not to cause any further confusion. There was no confusion, Tom. You took other people's photos, you pretended they were yours, and you reposted them. I wasn't confused. Was anybody else? His Insta went right down to about 15 or 20 photos. I mean, when I saw it, they'd already been purged. And I just thought maybe he's only just started Insta. He's a little bit older, so maybe he wasn't so social media savvy before being on TV. But the speed with which he took his photos down told us all they were fake. The owners of the photographs called him to book, and one guy was saying, I can't believe some idiot has reposted my photo. Tom, how embarrassing. That brings us to lie number 2, that he's an upper class gent. So although Tom grew up in Nottinghamshire, he doesn't have any semblance of a regional accent. He speaks very well and talks with quite clipped tones. But in the first episode in which he featured, his sister and I think her partner came to meet him at a restaurant in Nottingham. And it was really interesting because she had a very strong regional accent. And I noted at the time on my review that it's entirely possible for one person to have an RP, received pronunciation accent, and for their sibling to have a more regional accent. But usually that would mean that one person had been privately educated and one person possibly hadn't. It used to be quite common for people to educate boys more than to educate girls, so they'd send the boys to a nice private school and the girls to the comprehensive down the road. However, times have changed, so it's quite rare that that actually happens now. And so I smelled a rat right away. His sister did seem really amusing, and quite sarcastic, but I do feel like she was just going along with his narrative of having this perfectly clipped accent. I believe it to be completely contrived. Lie number 3 is along the same lines. He purports himself to be upper class, yet he has a full tattoo sleeve, and it's not even a decent one. I don't know how many upper class people have a full tattoo sleeve. Not many. Although this isn't incontrovertible evidence, I find it to be somewhat incongruent with the behaviour of an upper class gent. Lie number 4. According to Tom, he grew up in the Manor of Clifton, which is a stately home based on the River Trent in Nottinghamshire. It's a Grade 1 listed building, and Clifton Hall is actually a very old building, and it was thought to have been built in the 11th century. It's 3 stories high, 2 miles long, and boasts 36 bedrooms. In 2008, it was reported in tabloid newspapers that its millionaire owner, Anwar Rashid, and his family had left the house and stopped paying the mortgage because they believed it was haunted. It was repossessed by the bank and is currently up for sale. Tom does not now, and never has, lived at Clifton Hall. There's absolutely no record of Tom or any member of his family ever having lived at Clifton Hall. There are no pictures or mention of this stately home on his new and improved Instagram account. And when I checked into his background via his LinkedIn account, put your settings to private when lying, I noted that he went to Farnborough Academy, which is a comprehensive in Nottingham where he's from, and then he studied A-levels at High Pavement Sixth Form College. So there's no university, there's no higher education, and I don't know many people that grow up in an amazing stately home but yet failed to go to either private school or at least a grammar school. Next up is a lie of joint enterprise, and this is a lie from both Tom Brooks and TLC. This lie concerns his alleged ex-girlfriend, Rochelle. So in the last episode, Tom introduced Darcey to his alleged former girlfriend of 5 years. However, it's come to the Ebird's attention that this is just a woman he happened to know and had lunch with a few times. So a user at Reddit actually alleged that in fact Rochelle was not his ex-girlfriend and she was just a casual acquaintance of his. She says the following: "The scene was filmed about 6 times in total. This woman was there and was not aware she was supposed to be playing an ex-girlfriend because she had never dated him. He asked her to come along for a favour, and then when she turned up he said, 'Oh yeah, pretend we dated for 5 years.'" So apparently all of this information comes from interviews with the friends that were there. The girl in question, this Rochelle, signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and so she was unable to say anything. Well, I think that this pours quite a lot of scorn on the fact that he's a ladies' man. Why couldn't he find an actual ex to come on the show if that's what he wanted to do? It all seems very strange and shady. But it's just another day in the lies of Tom. And in at number 6, it's Tom's use of fake pictures to catfish Darcey. So Tom has what I can only describe as an unrivaled talent for making his face on photos look absolutely nothing like real life. He manages to use lights and holding cameras right up at strange angles. Tom uses props such as scarves to give himself a jawline in order to make him look at least 10 years younger. In his photos he looks about 40. As poor Darcey discovered, once you see Tom in real life, he looks about 59. And that's me being generous. And when they met, Darcey saw him in a new light, daylight, and it was bloody awful. But as per usual, Tom doesn't seem to be worried about getting caught out on all his lies. Lie number 8 is the fact that Tom's a ladies' man. And a quick look on Tom's Instagram feed shows very few women at all. Most people that I know that are ladies' men have a never-ending bevy of beauties all across their Instagram. And what do we see for Tom? We see nothing. Also, Tom doesn't really seem to know how to deal with Darcey properly. If Darcey's upset or crying, Tom seems to make it worse. And I think he seems very ill at ease in the company of women. Every single person that we've seen that allegedly knows Tom from his past life has made an absolute point of saying, "You're a ladies' man, you love him and leave him, you're a cad," right from his barber to his sister to his alleged ex-girlfriend. And I think it's completely overdone. Usually guys that have loads of girls want to try and keep it on the down low, and if anything, they're trying to deny it. But not Tom. He pushes this narrative to no avail, because he couldn't even come up with one ex-girlfriend to take to Darcey. What do you do when you pull all these girls, Tom? Quickly book an Airbnb and take them there. Perhaps he takes them to Clifton Manor. Who knows? And finally, we have lies number 9 and 10. Tom claims to be an international businessman, and he also claims to be a co-founder and commercial director of Fit Nation SLR / Label Mafia. Tom describes himself as an entrepreneur and businessman. I describe him as a pathological liar and fraudster. Now, the interesting thing about FitNation is that Tom lists on his LinkedIn page that he's co-founder and commercial director. The company's been going since June 2016 to present, so he still currently works at FitNation. However, FitNation's Facebook site hasn't been updated since March 2017. So either FitNation have decided that Facebook is no longer a viable way to market, or FitNation no longer exists. And a quick look at the FitNation website, which was made in 2017, shows clearly that FitNation sell products on Amazon. As of today, there are only 3 products available on sale in the FitNation shop, and there are a couple of ebooks to download. FitNation's Insta page is not much better. There are only 3 posts and 47 followers. One of those followers, as we see, is Tom Brooks TV. And the Bella Mafia, which Tom Brooks links himself with on his LinkedIn page, is owned by someone called Alice Matos, who is a former bikini and fitness athlete. So Tom doesn't actually own that company. Tom, again, hardly an international business which takes you on worldwide travel. Also, what's Tom been doing for the last 2 years? All very interesting, and just more subterfuge, deception and duplicity from Tom. And so that is pretty much it. Tom, for the lies you've told, there's a special place in Shameland for you. I'm not even convinced his name's Tom Brooks. Who knows what it might be. So that's about all from Ebird today. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please don't forget to like the video. You're listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.